What if the reason you struggle to get out of your chair this morning, the reason carrying shopping bags feels twice as heavy as it used to, the reason you started saying no to activities you once loved, what if none of that is just aging, but rather a reversible condition that's stealing your muscle while you sleep, while you eat, while you sit reading this very sentence? What if I told you that your body is currently losing muscle at a rate that will determine whether you're independent at 75 or dependent on others, and the difference between those two futures costs less than 3 pounds at your local supermarket? And what if the 7 foods I'm about to reveal, foods you walked past 100 times without realizing their power, could stop this muscle theft and actually rebuild the strength you thought was gone forever? Let me ask you something that might sting a bit. When was the last time you felt genuinely strong? Not just able to manage, not just getting by with clever workarounds and asking for help, but actually strong, confident in your body's ability to do what you ask of it. If that memory feels distant, even painful to think about, you need to understand that what you're experiencing has a name, and that name is sarcopenia. It's a medical term for age-related muscle loss, and it's happening to your body right now, today, this hour. Whether you feel dramatically or just notice small changes that you've been dismissing as normal aging, here's what makes sarcopenia so insidious and so terrifying once you understand it. Starting around age 60, your body begins losing muscle mass at a rate of roughly 3 to 8% per decade, and that rate accelerates as you get older. But it's not just about the quantity of muscle you're losing. It's about the quality. The muscle fibers you're losing first are called type 2 fibers, the fast-twitch muscles responsible for quick reactions, for catching yourself when you stumble, for generating the power you need to stand up from a low chair or climb a steep staircase. These are your safety muscles, your independence muscles, and they're disappearing while the slower, weaker type 1 fibers remain, creating a body that feels increasingly unreliable, increasingly fragile. Now here's the part that should make you angry. Most of this muscle loss isn't inevitable. It's not a natural, unavoidable consequence of reaching 65 or 70. It's largely the result of 2 factors that are completely within your control: insufficient protein intake and the wrong type of protein at the wrong times. Your body needs protein to maintain and build muscle. That's basic biology everyone understands. But what most people, including most doctors, don't explain clearly is that your protein needs don't decrease as you age. They increase dramatically. The amount of protein that kept you healthy and strong at 40 is completely inadequate at 65 because your body has developed what scientists call anabolic resistance. Essentially, your muscles have become stubbornly resistant to the building signals that protein normally sends. Where a younger person might need 15 to 20 grams of protein in a meal to trigger muscle protein synthesis, the process by which your body actually builds and repairs muscle tissue, someone over 60 needs close to 25 to 30 grams, and it needs to be the right kind of protein, complete proteins containing all the essential amino acids in the proper ratios. This is where most seniors unknowingly sabotage themselves. You might be eating what seems like a reasonable amount of protein, a bit of meat at dinner, perhaps some cheese on toast for lunch, maybe a yogurt for breakfast, and thinking you're doing fine. But if you actually calculated the grams of usable protein in those meals, and more importantly, the distribution of that protein across your day, you discover that you're operating at a massive deficit, and your muscles are paying the price. Every day that you underconsume protein or consume it in ways that your aging body can't efficiently use, you're giving sarcopenia permission to continue its theft. Your legs get weaker, making stairs a challenge and falls a constant threat. Your arms lose strength, making it difficult to carry shopping, open jars, or lift grandchildren. Your core weakens, affecting your balance and posture. Your grip fails, making simple tasks like turning door handles or holding a pen increasingly frustrating. And perhaps worst of all, this progressive weakness chips away at your confidence, your independence, your willingness to engage with life fully. But here's where hope enters, and I need you to really hear this because it's the reason I'm making this video. Sarcopenia is reversible. Your muscles, even at 70, 75, 80 years old, retain a remarkable capacity to rebuild, to strengthen, to respond to the right nutritional signals. You're not too old. You're not too far gone. You haven't missed some imaginary deadline where muscle building becomes impossible. What you've been missing is a specific knowledge of which foods provide the protein your aging muscles actually need, how much to eat, when to eat it, and crucially, how to do all this affordably. Because I know that many of you are living on fixed incomes, worried about the cost of groceries, convinced that building muscle requires expensive supplements or special foods that stretch your budget beyond breaking. That's completely false. The 7 foods I'm about to share with you, every single one costs less than £3, most significantly less, and they're available at any ordinary supermarket. No specialty stores, no online ordering, no exotic ingredients, just simple, affordable, powerful protein sources that work specifically with your aging body's needs. Before I reveal these 7 foods, you need to understand exactly what's happening inside your body right now, because this knowledge will transform how you think about every meal for the rest of your life. Your muscles are not static tissue that just sits there waiting to be used. They're living, dynamic organs in a constant state of breakdown and rebuilding, a process called protein turnover. Every single day, your body breaks down old, damaged muscle proteins and attempts to rebuild them with new, fresh proteins synthesized from the amino acids you get from food. In a younger person, this process stays roughly balanced. Breakdown equals rebuilding, and muscle mass remains stable. But after 60, something changes fundamentally. The breakdown side of the equation stays constant or even increases, while the rebuilding side becomes significantly less efficient. This is anabolic resistance, and it's the core reason why sarcopenia happens. Here's how anabolic resistance works in practical terms. When you eat protein, it gets broken down in your digestive system into individual amino acids. These amino acids enter your bloodstream and travel to your muscles, where they should trigger a cellular process called the mTOR pathway, which is essentially the switch that tells your muscles to start building new tissue. In younger bodies, even a modest amount of protein flips that switch reliably. But in aging bodies, the switch becomes increasingly stubborn. It requires a much stronger signal, which means much more protein consumed at once to activate. If you spread small amount of protein across your meals, say 10 grams here, 12 grams there, you never reach the threshold needed to flip the switch. Your body simply uses those amino acids for energy or other functions, and your muscles get nothing. They continue breaking down without adequate rebuilding. And day by day, week by week, month by month, you get weaker. Now here's the critical insight that changes everything. Research has shown that seniors need approximately 25 to 30 grams of high-quality protein per meal, consumed 3 times daily, to overcome anabolic resistance and maintain muscle mass. That's not 25 grams total for the day. That's 25 to 30 grams at breakfast, another 25 to 30 at lunch, and another 25 to 30 at dinner. This is significantly more than most seniors are consuming. And it explains why you can feel like you're eating adequately but still losing strength. The distribution matters just as much as the total amount. If you eat a tiny breakfast, skip lunch or have just a sandwich, and then eat all your protein at dinner, you've only given your muscles one proper opportunity all day to rebuild. And by the time dinner arrives, you've already been in a catabolic state, meaning muscle breakdown state, for most of your waking hours. But there's another factor that makes the situation even more challenging, and it's one that nobody warned you about when you turn 60. Your digestive system has become less efficient at breaking down and absorbing protein. Your stomach produces less hydrochloric acid, which is essential for denaturing protein molecules and making them accessible to digestive enzymes. Your pancreas produces fewer digestive enzymes, meaning that even the protein you do consume might not be fully broken down into usable amino acids. Your intestinal lining has become less permeable in some ways and more permeable in others, affecting nutrient absorption. All of this means that a piece of chicken that would have provided 25 grams of usable protein when you were 40 might only provide 15 to 18 grams of usable protein now. Your body is working with a handicap, and you have to compensate by choosing proteins that are easier to digest and absorb. This is where the conventional advice completely fails seniors. You're told to eat lean meats, fish, and poultry, which sounds sensible, but these are actually some of the most difficult proteins for an aging digestive system to handle. A tough piece of steak can sit in your stomach for 4 to 6 hours, requiring enormous amounts of digestive juice and energy, and even then, a significant portion might pass through undigested. Meanwhile, you're feeling bloated, uncomfortable, and discouraged thinking that if eating protein makes you feel this bad, perhaps you should eat less of it. This is exactly the wrong conclusion, but it's completely understandable given how your body is responding. What you actually need are protein sources that your body can break down quickly and efficiently, proteins that come with their own digestive support or are in forms that require minimal processing. You also need to consider something called protein quality, which is measured by how well a food's amino acid profile matches your body's needs. Your muscles require 9 essential amino acids that your body cannot manufacture on its own. A complete protein contains all 9 in adequate amounts. An incomplete protein is missing 1 or more, which means your body can't use it effectively for muscle building even if you eat large quantities. Many plant proteins are incomplete, which is why vegetarians and vegans have to be very strategic about combining foods to get complete proteins. But several affordable foods provide complete proteins in highly digestible forms, and these are the ones you should prioritize. The 7 foods I'm about to share are specifically chosen because they combine 3 critical factors. They're complete proteins, they're easily digestible for aging systems, and they cost less than 3 pounds each. Most cost significantly less, under a pound, making them accessible to anyone on any budget. There's one more crucial element of the protein equation that determines whether you maintain muscle or lose it, and that's timing. Your body can only process and use a certain amount of protein at once, roughly 30 to 40 grams per meal. Anything beyond that doesn't provide additional muscle-building benefit. It's either used for energy, converted to glucose, or in extreme cases, excreted. This means that eating a massive protein-heavy dinner after having protein-poor breakfast and lunch doesn't catch you up. You've already lost that day's muscle-building opportunities at breakfast and lunch. Your muscles needed protein then when your body's protein synthesis machinery was ready to work, and you didn't provide it. This is why the distribution of protein across 3 meals is just as important as the total amount. You're giving your muscles 3 opportunities daily to rebuild instead of just 1. Now, let me reveal the first 3 foundational protein foods that will form the backbone of your muscle rebuilding strategy. And I'm starting with these 3 specifically because they're the most accessible, the easiest to prepare, and the most forgiving if you're not confident in the kitchen. These are your daily staples, the foods you'll rely on week after week. And together they provide everything your muscles need to stop deteriorating and start strengthening. The first food costs less than 2 pounds for a week's supply, digests easier than any meat you've ever eaten, and works within hours of consumption. Food number 1 is tinned mackerel, not the expensive fresh fish, not the fancy smoked variety, just ordinary tinned mackerel in water or brine that sits on supermarket shelves for under £1.50 per tin. One small tin, roughly 100 grams, provides 23 grams of complete protein that your body can break down and absorb in under 90 minutes, compared to 4 to 6 hours for beef or chicken. But mackerel offers something beyond just protein. It contains omega-3 fatty acids in concentrations that rival expensive salmon, and these fats do something critical for aging muscles. They reduce the chronic low-grade inflammation that interferes with protein synthesis. Think of inflammation as static on a radio signal. Your muscles are trying to receive the building message from protein, but inflammation creates interference that weakens the signal. The omega-3s in mackerel clear that interference, allowing your muscles to respond more effectively to the protein you're consuming. Here's exactly how to use it. Open 1 tin, drain the liquid, and mash the fish with a fork. Spread it on 2 slices of wholemeal toast for breakfast, or mix it with a small amount of plain yogurt and eat it with oat cakes for lunch. The key is eating it earlier in the day, breakfast, or lunch, because morning is when your muscles are most responsive to protein after the overnight fasting period. Never save your protein for dinner only. You're wasting your most receptive muscle-building window. 1 tin 3 times per week gives you consistent omega-3 coverage and excellent protein without breaking your budget. Food number 2 is dried red lentils. And before you dismiss these as hippie food or something only vegetarians eat, understand that lentils provide something extraordinary for seniors. 1 cup of cooked red lentils delivers 18 grams of protein plus enormous amounts of fiber, iron, and folate. But here's what makes them special for muscle building. They're one of the few plant proteins that's nearly complete, missing only slightly in 1 amino acid. And when you eat them with any grain, bread, rice, oats, you create a complete protein that rivals meat. The cost is absurd. Under 1 pound for a bag that makes 8 to 10 servings. The preparation is simple. Boil them for 15 minutes. No soaking required like other legumes. And they become soft and creamy, easy for sensitive stomachs to handle. Red lentils also contain something called resistant starch that feeds beneficial gut bacteria. And these bacteria actually improve your ability to absorb nutrients from all foods, not just the lentils themselves. A healthier gut means better protein absorption across everything you eat. Here's your protocol. Cook 1 cup of dried lentils in 3 cups of water with a pinch of salt and turmeric. The turmeric isn't just for flavor. It's a powerful anti-inflammatory that enhances the muscle protective benefits. Divide into portions and add to soups, mix with rice, or eat as a side dish with your meals. 1 serving at lunch 4 times per week gives you sustained amino acid release that keeps your muscles fed for hours. The texture is soft enough that even if you have dental issues or digestive sensitivity, you can handle lentils when tougher meats cause problems. Food number 3 is the one that surprises most people because it seems too ordinary, too simple to be powerful, but it's actually one of the most muscle-protective foods available to seniors. Porridge oats. Now, you're thinking oats are carbohydrates, not protein, and you're partly right, but here's what you don't know. Oats contain more protein than any other common grain. 6 grams per half cup of dry oats, and crucially, they contain a specific type of protein called avenin that's unusually easy for aging digestive systems to break down. But the real genius of oats for muscle building isn't the protein they contain, it's how they enhance the protein you eat with them. Oats create a slow, steady release of energy that prevents blood sugar spikes, and stable blood sugar is essential for muscle protein synthesis. When your blood sugar crashes, your body releases cortisol, a stress hormone that actively breaks down muscle tissue to convert it to glucose for energy. This is called gluconeogenesis, and it's one of the main ways seniors lose muscle without realizing it. Every blood sugar crash throughout your day is a mini muscle wasting event. Oats prevent this by providing complex carbohydrates that release slowly over 3 to 4 hours. Here's how to use oats strategically. Make porridge with half a cup of oats and add 1 scoop of affordable whey protein powder. Or if you can't tolerate whey, add 3 tablespoons of ground almonds. This combination gives you 30 grams of complete protein plus the blood sugar stability that allows your muscles to actually use that protein for building rather than having it diverted to energy production. Eat this for breakfast within 1 hour of waking, when your cortisol is naturally highest and your muscles are most primed to receive amino acids. The cost for a week of breakfast is under 3 pounds total. Oats last for months in your cupboard. They require no refrigeration, and they're so simple to prepare that even on your worst days, when you feel tired or unwell, you can still make porridge and give your muscles what they need. These 3 foods, tin mackerel, red lentils, and porridge oats, form your foundation because they're affordable, shelf-stable, easy to digest, and provide consistent protein that your muscles can actually use. But they're just the beginning. Now we move into the power tier, the 4 foods that take your muscle rebuilding from maintenance to actual growth, from stopping the decline to reversing it. These foods are strategically different from the foundation 3 because they deliver either higher protein density, unique amino acid profiles, or specific timing advantages that maximize your body's muscle building windows. Food number 4 is something you've probably been told to avoid for decades, and that advice has cost you precious muscle. Food number 4 is full-fat milk, and I mean proper whole milk, not the watery skim version. 1 pint of whole milk contains 19 grams of complete protein in a form called liquid protein matrix that your body absorbs faster than almost any solid food. Within 45 minutes of drinking milk, amino acids are flooding into your bloodstream and reaching your muscles. But here's what makes milk uniquely powerful for seniors. It contains both whey and casein proteins in a natural ratio, 20% whey for fast absorption and 80% casein for slow, sustained release over 6 to 7 hours. This means 1 glass of milk provides both immediate muscle-building stimulus and long-lasting protection against muscle breakdown. The fat in whole milk, which you've been told to fear, actually helps your body absorb vitamin D and vitamin K, both essential for muscle function. Without fat, these vitamins pass through unused. A pint costs under 1 pound and gives you 2 servings. Drink 1 glass mid-morning and another mid-afternoon as snacks between meals. This fills the dangerous gap when your muscles are most vulnerable to breakdown, the hours between breakfast and lunch and dinner. If you're lactose intolerant, lactose-free whole milk provides identical benefits. Don't waste money on expensive protein shakes when whole milk delivers superior nutrition at a fraction of the cost. Food number 5 is chicken thighs. And notice I said thighs, not breast. Everyone buys chicken breast thinking it's healthier because it's leaner. But chicken breast is actually harder for aging stomachs to digest, and it dries out easily, becoming tough and unpalatable. Chicken thighs contain the same amount of protein per 100 grams, approximately 26 grams, but they're self-basing due to their fat content, staying moist and tender even if you slightly overcook them. They're also significantly cheaper, often half the price of breast meat, under 2 pounds for a pack that provides 3 to 4 meals. The dark meat in thighs contains more iron and zinc than breast meat, minerals that are crucial for muscle protein synthesis but deficient in most seniors' diets. Here's your preparation method. Buy bone-in, skin-on thighs because they're the cheapest option. Roast them at 180 degrees Celsius for 35 minutes. No marinating or complicated steps required. The skin crisps up and becomes delicious, and the bone adds flavor while keeping the meat incredibly moist. Remove the skin before eating if you're worried about fat, but eat the meat while it's warm because cold chicken becomes tough and difficult to chew. One thigh provides 26 grams of protein for your dinner, meeting your evening protein target with one simple, affordable piece of meat. Batch cook 4 to 6 thighs on Sunday, refrigerate them, and you've solved your protein needs for half the week. Food number 6 is plain quark, a soft cheese that most people walk straight past in the supermarket without realizing it's possibly the best muscle-building bargain available. Quark looks like thick yogurt, costs under £1.50 for a 500-gram tub, and contains an astonishing 14 grams of protein per 100 grams with virtually no fat or sugar. But what makes quark exceptional isn't just the protein quantity, it's the protein type. Quark is almost pure casein, the slow-digesting protein that feeds your muscles for 7 to 8 hours. This makes it the perfect evening food, eaten an hour before bed to protect your muscles during the overnight fast when muscle breakdown naturally accelerates. While you sleep, your body has no food coming in, so it looks for amino acids wherever it can find them. And if you haven't provided a slow-release protein source, it breaks down your muscle tissue to get them. Quark prevents this cannibalization by providing a steady stream of amino acids throughout the night. Eat 100 grams straight from the tub with a handful of berries or a drizzle of honey for palatability. That's 14 grams of muscle-protecting protein for approximately 30 pence. Do this every night, and you'll wake up less stiff with better morning strength because your muscles have been rebuilding instead of breaking down while you slept. Food number 7, the champion. The single most cost-effective muscle-building food available to seniors is tin chickpeas. A standard 400-gram tin costs 60 to 80 pence and contains 19 grams of complete protein plus fiber that slows digestion, creating sustained amino acid release. Chickpeas are a revelation for aging digestive systems because they're soft, requiring minimal chewing, and they're pre-cooked in the tin, meaning your stomach doesn't have to work hard to break them down. They contain all 9 essential amino acids, making them a complete protein despite being plant-based. Drain and rinse 1 tin. Mash roughly with a fork. Add a squeeze of lemon juice and pinch of salt, and you created a protein-rich spread or side dish that costs less than £1 and provides protein for 2 meals. The fiber in chickpeas does something remarkable. It feeds gut bacteria that produce short-chain fatty acids, and these fatty acids reduce the systemic inflammation that interferes with muscle building. Eat chickpeas at lunch 3 to 4 times weekly, mashed on toast, added to soups, or mixed into salads. For under 3 pounds weekly, these 4 power foods, milk, chicken thighs, quark, and chickpeas, deliver over 150 grams of high-quality, easily digestible protein that your muscles can actually use to rebuild strength you thought was permanently lost. Now, let me show you exactly how to use these 7 foods to create a daily eating pattern that stops muscle loss and starts muscle rebuilding. Because having the right foods means nothing if you eat them at the wrong times or in the wrong combinations. Your day needs to be structured around 3 protein-rich meals that each deliver 25 to 30 grams of usable protein, plus strategic snacks that prevent the muscle breakdown that happens during the gaps between meals. Here's your complete protocol. And I want you to notice how affordable and simple this actually is. Breakfast, within 1 hour of waking. Make porridge with half a cup of oats cooked in water or milk. Then stir in 3 tablespoons of ground almonds or 1 scoop of basic whey protein powder. This gives you 30 grams of protein plus sustained energy release. Twice weekly, replace this with 2 slices of toast topped with mashed tin mackerel. 1 tin split across both slices. Cost for the week, approximately 4 pounds for 7 breakfasts. Mid-morning snack, around 10:30. Drink 1 glass, 200 milliliters of full-fat milk. This delivers 9 grams of fast protein that bridges the gap to lunch and prevents the mid-morning cortisol spike that breaks down muscle. Weekly costs, 1 pint costs under 1 pound, giving you 3 to 4 snacks. Lunch, between 12 and 1 o'clock. This is where your lentils and chickpeas shine. Make a large batch on Sunday. 1 cup of dried red lentils cooked and seasoned, 1 tin of chickpeas mashed with lemon. Store in containers. Each day, have 1 portion of either lentils or chickpeas, roughly 150 grams, with 1 slice of wholemeal bread or a small portion of rice. This combination creates complete protein, delivering 25 grams. Weekly cost for lunches, under 3 pounds total. Mid-afternoon snack, around 3:30. Another glass of full-fat milk or 100 grams of plain quark with a few berries. This second snack prevents the afternoon energy crash and provides another protein boost. Weekly cost, 2 pounds maximum. Dinner, between 6 and 7 o'clock. This is your main protein meal, 1 roasted chicken thigh or a palm-sized portion of any affordable meat or fish you prefer, alongside vegetables. The chicken thigh alone provides 26 grams of protein. If you're having a particularly active day, add 50 grams of lentils as a side. Weekly cost for dinners, 6 to 8 pounds depending on your meat choices. Evening snack, 1 hour before bed. 100 grams of quark, approximately 14 grams of casein protein that will feed your muscles throughout the night. Weekly cost, under 2 pounds. Let me add this up for you. Your total weekly food cost for all the protein you need to stop and reverse sarcopenia is approximately 18 to 20 pounds. That's less than 3 pounds per day to save your muscle, your strength, your independence. No expensive supplements, no meal replacement shakes, no specialty foods. Just smart, strategic eating using affordable whole foods. Now here's what to expect if you follow this protocol consistently. Week 1, you'll notice improved energy levels and less afternoon fatigue. Your body is finally getting consistent fuel, and it responds by stabilizing your blood sugar and reducing cortisol. Week 2, you'll start noticing that getting out of chairs feels slightly easier, that your legs don't feel quite as heavy on stairs. This is your muscles beginning to respond to the consistent amino acid supply. Week 3 to 4, other people might comment that you seem stronger or more energetic. You'll notice you can carry shopping bags without switching hands as often, that opening jars doesn't require the same struggle. By week 6 to 8, measurable improvements become obvious. Your grip strength increases noticeably. Your balance improves because your core and leg muscles are stabilizing better. Tasks that required rest breaks, like gardening or cleaning, you can now complete without stopping. This isn't magic, and it's not overnight. This is your body finally getting what it needs to repair and rebuild. But let me be absolutely clear about what happens if you ignore this. If you decide that changing your eating pattern is too much effort or that surely your current diet is fine, sarcopenia doesn't plateau. It accelerates. Every year you lose more muscle than the year before, and there comes a point, different for everyone, but usually somewhere in your mid to late 70s, where you cross a threshold. Your leg muscles become too weak to reliably support your weight. You fall, and that fall changes everything. Perhaps you break a hip, which for seniors often means months of immobility, massive muscle loss, and a 50% chance you'll never return to independent living. Perhaps you don't break anything, but you lose confidence, becoming afraid to move normally, which accelerates muscle loss even faster. Your world contracts. You stop going out. You stop socializing. You become dependent on family or carers for basic tasks. The emotional cost is devastating. The loss of dignity, of autonomy, of identity as a capable person. The financial cost is crushing. care homes, mobility aids, medications, help with daily tasks. All of this is preventable with adequate protein consumed consistently. Let me tell you about James, 71, from Newcastle, because his story shows what becomes possible. James had been declining for 3 years, struggling with stairs, unable to play with his grandchildren without exhausting himself, worried constantly about falling. He'd accepted this as normal aging until his daughter showed him information about sarcopenia. He started this exact protocol: porridge and protein for breakfast, milk mid-morning, lentils or chickpeas for lunch, chicken thigh for dinner, quark before bed. Within 6 weeks, he climbed the stairs to his bedroom without stopping to rest for the first time in 2 years. Within 3 months, he was kneeling on the floor to play with his 5-year-old grandson and getting back up without help. 6 months in, he took his wife on a walking holiday in the Lake District, something they both thought was impossible. James didn't just save his muscle. He reclaimed his life, and it cost him 20 pounds per week. That's the choice in front of you. 20 pounds per week to stay strong, independent, and capable, or save that money now and spend tens of thousands later on care you wouldn't need if you fed your muscles properly. Start tomorrow morning with proper protein at breakfast. Your muscles are waiting